Imagine if the fate of humanity came down to one guy alone in space with no idea who he is. Because that's the premise of Project Hail Mary. Somehow, it turns that frightening idea into one of the most hopeful sci fi movies in years. Reuniting author Andy Weir and screenwriter Drew Goddard after 2015's The Martian, this film follows Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, who wakes up alone on a spaceship with no memory of how he got there. As his memory slowly comes back, he realizes the truth. The sun is dying, and he might be Earth's last chance to save it. That sounds like a massive end of the world story, and it is, but what makes Project Hail Mary interesting is how intimate it feels. This isn't really about destruction or spectacle, it's about problem solving, about figuring things out step by step, and watching one person slowly rebuild not just his memory, but his sense of purpose. Ryan Gosling does all of the heavy lifting here, and what makes it work is that Grace isn't a perfect hero. He's smart, but unsure, capable, but reluctant. He doesn't feel like a chosen one, he feels like a guy who just happens to be the last guy left. And then, at a certain point, the movie changes. What starts as a survival story turns into something even better, and without spoiling anything, it becomes less about isolation and more about connection. What happens when you're forced to communicate with someone completely unfamiliar? And over the course of the film, Ryan Gosling proves that he could even have chemistry with a rock. And that's where the movie really stands out, because at its core, this is a story about collaboration, even across completely different perspectives. It's about curiosity, empathy, and the idea that solving big problems requires more than just intelligence, it requires teamwork. Visually, the film does exactly what you'd expect from modern sci fi. Space looks massive, tech feels real, and everything has weight. But what really works is how grounded it all feels. Even with the huge stakes, the movie keeps bringing everything back to small moments: the experiments, the decisions, and the conversations. If you're looking for something super philosophical or abstract, this isn't that kind of movie. It's not 2001: A Space Odyssey or Solaris. It leans more toward accessibility than complexity, and that balance is what makes this movie such a perfectly executed crowd pleaser. Project Hail Mary isn't trying to question whether humanity is doomed. It's asking something simpler. When everything is on the line, can we figure it out? Can we work together? And can we actually get it right? And this movie's answer is a resounding yes. Maybe we can, because we're certainly capable. And in a genre that often leans toward darkness, this kind of optimism feels pretty refreshing. So let me know in the comments, what's your favorite sci fi movie? And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to subscribe to Fandom Frontline for more deep dives into film, TV, gaming, and all of the stories that define our fandom.